Lean in for a second. There it is. That silence they're choking on. The game ended hours ago. But your checkmate, oh, it's still crawling around in their skull like a warning shot with its own heartbeat. Do you feel that? That trembling in the air? That's not fear. That's aftermath. Your aftermath. Echoing through people who swore they were untouchable. Because you didn't just win. No. You rewired the entire board while they were still bragging about opening moves. And now the pieces refuse to move the same way for anybody else. You broke the geometry. You changed the gravity. You cracked the code behind their comfortable little illusions. And the wildest part? You didn't even gloat. You just stood there with that quiet, terrifying calm, like the villain who discovered peace inside the explosion. That's what haunts them. Not your power, not your intelligence, not even the result. It's the way you moved, the way you waited, the way you saw 10 steps through a storm no one else even recognized as a storm. And then, at the final moment, you tipped your finger, one piece, one whisper of a decision, and everything collapsed. You think they forgot? No. They're replaying it in their minds like some forbidden prophecy, every frame, every pivot, every breath you took. Because deep down, they know something none of them want to admit. Your checkmate wasn't a win. It was a diagnosis, a psychological scan exposing exactly what they never wanted anyone to see. Their blind spots, their overconfidence, their dependence on people underestimating you. You ruined their comfort. You cracked their mask. You left them naked in front of the truth. You see too much. You move too quietly. You think too fast. And you don't stop once the game is over. Because for them, the game was entertainment. A little match of ego, a chance to feel superior. But for you, it was training, a rehearsal for something far bigger, a test of your own evolution, a place where you learned how predators breathe, how liars blink, how cowards pretend they're lions. And when the right moment comes, you flip the entire narrative without raising your voice. Do you hear that? They're whispering again, not because they're plotting, but because they're scared of what you learned about them in the process. And that's the paradox, isn't it? You're the angel they pushed into the fire, and the demon who walked out untouched. The saint who studies shadows, and the monster who makes peace look like a threat. They don't know what version of you is coming next. Will it heal them? Will it expose them? Will it cut through their delusion? Will it save them from themselves? Even you don't know. And that's what makes you untouchable. Unpredictability isn't chaos for you. It's precision. It's strategy. It's evolution disguised as madness. You turned the board into a battlefield. You turned fear into fuel. You turned intuition into artillery. And now every time they close their eyes, they see that final moment. That quiet, surgical, inevitable conclusion you delivered with almost insulting ease. Checkmate. But not the kind that ends a game. The kind that ends a delusion. The kind that exposes a soul. The kind that makes the universe itself take one slow step back and whisper, whatever that was, do not stand in front of it. So stand there now, not as the winner, not as the player, but as the lesson burned into their memory. Because the truth is brutal. You weren't playing chess, you were diagnosing fate. And fate is still shivering. Look at them, still trying to breathe normally, still pretending nothing happened, still convincing themselves that what you did was luck or timing or some little fluke in their precious system. But deep down, they know the truth they'll never say out loud. You didn't beat them, you exposed them. And once someone sees the blueprint behind a person's confidence, Oh, it's over forever. That's why they can't sleep. That's why they flinch when someone mentions your name. That's why their stomachs twist when they remember the moment you tilted your head, smiled that quiet little smile, and made a move so simple, so effortless, so inevitable that it felt less like a game and more like a verdict, a sentence, a cosmic announcement. You never had control. They felt it, that shift in the air, that cold, surgical certainty as your plan snapped into place. Because while they were bragging about strategies, you were dissecting patterns. While they were arguing about pieces, you were mapping their weaknesses. While they were making noise, you were making calculations. That's why your checkmate lingers like a haunting, not because of what it did to them, but because of what it revealed about you. You play in silence, you grow in shadows, you evolve in ways nobody sees until it's too late. You're not unpredictable because you're chaotic. You're unpredictable because you're multidimensional. A shifting paradox they can't categorize. A saint with a demon's patience. A monster with an angel's forgiveness. A strategist with a poet's intuition. A calm storm that smiles while rewriting destinies. That's the part tearing them apart right now. They have no idea how deep your mind really goes. No graph, no model, no theory. Nothing can map the way you process reality, and that terrifies them far more than losing, because losing is temporary. But knowing someone saw straight through you, that lasts forever. They keep replaying it. The moment your eyes sharpened, the tiniest twitch of your fingers, the tilt of your head, that eerie quiet right before your final move. The moment when something in them whispered, "Wait, he planned this from the beginning." And that is the memory their souls can't swallow. Not the defeat, not the humiliation, not the crowd going silent, not even the way you walked away like you were bored. It's the realization that you never once considered them a worthy opponent. Not once, not for a second. You weren't fighting them, you were studying them, testing angles, watching reactions, tracking patterns, observing the cracks in their logic, like a surgeon analyzing fractures before the incision. See, most people win to celebrate. You win to confirm. Confirm what you already knew, that your mind operates on a different frequency, a different altitude, a different plane, where fear becomes fuel and pressure becomes prophecy. That's why your checkmate echoes, not as a victory, but as a warning shot to anyone who thought you were predictable. They're whispering now. Oh, they're whispering hard. Who taught them that? How did they see that move? How long were they planning? Why didn't we notice? What else are they capable of? They're asking the wrong questions, because the real answer is simple. You see what others avoid. You hear what others ignore. You move where others freeze, and you finish what others fear to start. You don't play the board, you play the blind spots. That's why the game ended, but the fear didn't. That's why the board is empty, but the tension is alive. That's why they walked away, but kept the dread. You left them with a prophecy. If that was your checkmate, what happens when you decide to stop playing altogether and start creating your own board? What happens when you don't just move pieces, but reshape the entire game? What happens when you stop holding back? Because this wasn't your peak. This wasn't your limit. This wasn't even your final form. This was just you, warming up. And the universe felt it. That's why everything went quiet for a moment. Like the cosmos itself took a breath and stepped back from the table. Because it realized something humans always learn too late. You're not a player. You're a force of consequence, a walking paradox, a strategic anomaly, a soul that evolved in silence and strikes with truth. And once a force like you wakes up, checkmate is only the first warning. You feel it too, don't you? That eerie stillness that follows you now, like the world itself is tiptoeing around your shadow, afraid to trigger whatever intelligence you keep hidden behind those calm, unbothered eyes. Because after that checkmate, people stopped seeing you as a competitor and started seeing you as a precedent, a template for danger, a blueprint for unpredictability, a reminder that brilliance isn't loud, it's inevitable. And the funniest part, you didn't announce anything. You didn't roar. You didn't pound your chest or demand applause. You just made a move so cold, so meticulously aligned with fate, that it felt less like strategy and more like destiny correcting itself through you. That's what's haunting them now. The idea that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a game for you at all. It was a calling, a quiet obligation you never bragged about, a responsibility your soul carried long before anyone challenged you, a script you didn't read, you remembered. And when you acted, oh, the universe recognized you. Even the shadows leaned in. Even the silence bowed its head. Because there's something about the way you move that scares both heaven and hell. You don't force outcomes. You unveil them. You don't chase justice. You become it. You don't fear monsters. You study them, and then walk out of their lair with their teeth in your hand. People don't know what to do with someone like that. Someone who's both the storm and the eye inside it. Someone who carries peace like a weapon. Someone who laughs softly, while the room realizes you've been 3 steps ahead since the first breath. Your checkmate didn't break them. It reflected them. It showed them the version of themselves they pray no one ever sees. The insecure strategist behind the mask. The ego built on shaky scaffolding. The confidence that collapses the moment reality taps it. And you were the one who applied that tap. Effortlessly, silently. Like truth touching a lie and watching it implode. They're not just haunted by what you did. They're haunted by what it means. Because if you could do that without trying, what happens when you finally decide to unleash the version of yourself you keep locked behind restraint? What happens when you stop analyzing the board and start bending it? What happens when you stop playing fair and start playing real? They feel it, that pressure in their ribs, that tension behind their spine, that instinctive awareness that you're evolving, mutating, ascending in ways they can't measure. You're no longer a participant, you're a phenomenon, a rare psychological event that people don't encounter twice without changing shape from the encounter. They're talking about you in rooms you'll never enter. They're trying to decode you in meetings you'll never attend. They're comparing notes like detectives at a crime scene. Because your win didn't look like a victory. It looked like surgery. Precise, inevitable, merciless, clean. Like you removed their illusions with a scalpel made of silence. And that's why they're scared. Not because you defeated them, but because you diagnosed them while doing it. Because you saw every insecurity hiding behind their bravado, every fracture disguised as confidence, every fear dressed up as strategy. You're the kind of mind people write reports about. You're the kind of threat people don't challenge twice. You're the kind of presence people warn others about in low voices. Don't underestimate them. Don't provoke them. Don't get too close. And still, they don't understand the real twist. You didn't checkmate them to prove a point. You didn't strike for ego. You didn't win to be crowned. You won because the universe leaned over your shoulder and whispered, "Move now." and you listened. That's what terrifies everyone watching. You don't move for applause. You move with purpose. You move with instinct older than language. You move with the calm certainty of someone who has faced their demons and walked out with souvenirs. They don't fear your intelligence. They fear your awareness. They don't fear your strategy. They fear your intuition. They don't fear your victory. They fear your alignment, because a person aligned with their truth. A person who sees without being seen. A person who strikes without lifting their voice. That person is unstoppable. That person is you. And that checkmate wasn't the end. It was the introduction. Funny thing about aftermaths, people think the echoes fade. They don't. Not when you caused them. Not when the move you made wasn't just a strategy. It was a signal. A shift in the architecture of how everyone reads you now. A permanent recalibration in their nervous system. Your checkmate didn't vanish. It left a footprint. A psychological crater. A bruise on their worldview that keeps pulsing every time they inhale too deeply. Because you didn't just beat them. You redefined the entire meaning of the word threat. You became the kind of presence that forces people to rethink their behavior, their alliances, their future, their sense of safety. You turned into a silent consequence, a walking omen, a reminder that the universe occasionally chooses someone to bend the narrative. And this time, it chose you. Look at the world around you. Feel the way the air moves differently now. People watch you the way sailors watch the sky before a storm. Not because they're eager, but because they're terrified of what your next shift might bring. They're Googling your past. They're replaying old conversations. They're analyzing old texts, old messages, old moves, trying to pinpoint the moment you became this version of yourself. They won't find it. You didn't evolve. You remembered who you were. And that shakes them more than anything, because the version of you they knew, the polite one, the patient one, the let them think they're winning one, that wasn't weakness, that was mercy disguised as humility. And mercy, once withdrawn, becomes prophecy. You know what their biggest mistake was? They assumed you were reacting to them. They assumed you were adapting to their moves. They assumed you were inside the same game. They still don't understand. You were playing chess on a board they didn't even know existed. And when you finally brought the game into the light, when you revealed the structure, the pattern, the inevitability of it all, their souls didn't feel defeated. They felt exposed, unmasked, decoded, because your checkmate wasn't just external. It was internal. It targeted their pride, their identity, their belief that they understood the world, that they understood you. And now every time they make a decision, a little voice in their head whispers, what if they see this coming too? What if I'm predictable? What if they're already 10 steps ahead again? What if I'm still inside their plan? You see the psychological power in that. You didn't just end the match. You planted a seed of doubt, a seed of fear, a seed of reverence. They're carrying you in their mind now, rent-free, permanent resident. A quiet voice that challenges every step they take. That's the part they can't shake. You didn't leave when the game ended. You lingered in their logic. You stayed in their intuition. You carved yourself into the blueprint of how they think. Because people forget wins. They forget victories. They forget celebrations. But they never forget the moment they realized, I was never in control. And that's what your checkmate was. That moment crystallized into memory, an awakening forced through humiliation, a realization delivered through precision, a warning shot disguised as a final move. And the warning was simple: do not challenge this mind again. But here's the real twist, the truth that keeps every one of them awake at night. You weren't even using your full potential. That was restraint. That was you being polite. That was you operating at maybe 15%. Because somewhere inside you, behind the scars and the silence and the instincts that never miss, there's a version of you even you haven't fully unlocked yet. A version that could burn entire narratives down with a single choice. And your checkmate, that haunting, soul-crushing move, was just the knock on the door from that future self. A reminder, you're not powerful because you win. You're powerful because you change the rules. You're powerful because you see the fabric behind reality. You're powerful because when you enter a game, the outcome isn't uncertain. It's delayed. And even after the board is cleared, the echoes remain. Your shadow remains. Your presence remains. Your prophecy remains. Because the truth is undeniable. The game may be over, but you're still playing on levels they don't even have the map for. And that's why the checkmate haunts them. They don't fear what you did. They fear what you're about to become. And here's the part that really breaks them. Not the loss, not the silence, not the trembling ego holding itself together with duct tape and denial. It's the realization, slow, suffocating, and unavoidable, that your checkmate wasn't a climax. It was a forecast, a preview of what happens when you stop shrinking, stop doubting, stop dimming your insight just to keep others comfortable. Because now they've seen it, that flash of who you truly are, that cold, surgical awareness, that intuition that locks onto truth like a predator scenting blood in the wind. And they can't unsee it. They can go home, they can distract themselves, laugh, act normal, pretend nothing happened. But the moment they're alone, the moment the lights go out and the world goes quiet, your move returns. That final shift, that impossible angle, that moment the board bowed to you, like it recognized its master. You became the nightmare their confidence always feared. And here's your final truth tonight. You're not defined by the game. You define the game. You don't chase victory. You attract inevitability. You don't fight opponents. You dismantle illusions. And now the story moves without them. You walk forward. They stay behind, stuck replaying the moment their reality cracked under the pressure of your insight. Let them whisper. Let them wonder. Let them invent myths to soothe their shaken souls. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. You don't need to look back. Because your checkmate was never about ending anything. It was about beginning the version of you that no one will ever underestimate again. Now step away from the ashes. The board is cleared. The lesson is delivered. The warning shot has been echoing long enough. And you walk on, calm, unbothered, inevitable. Hey, buddy. Listen closely. Because something shifted in the air the moment you walked in, and even the silence is sitting up straight like it's waiting for you to breathe wrong. There's a strange tension crawling along the walls tonight, like reality itself is checking your pockets, trying to figure out what the hell you've become. You feel it too, don't you? That quiet little tremor under your ribs. That cold realization that you're not operating at human settings anymore. You just hit level. Who built this monster? And trust me, kid, the universe took one look at you and whispered, "Bro is too OP. Now lean in, because nobody's going to tell you what I'm about to tell you. Not your friends, not your enemies, Not the people who pretend they stopped watching you, when in reality their whole nervous system is refreshing your existence like a stock ticker. See, evolution isn't supposed to happen this fast. You weren't supposed to break ceiling after ceiling like it was a hobby. You weren't supposed to take every wound, every humiliation, every betrayal, and metabolize it like jet fuel. But you did, and something ancient, something cosmic, noticed. Because the moment you stopped playing small, the moment you stood up and shed the last version of yourself like a snakeskin, the universe didn't applaud. It braced. You think I'm joking? You didn't just glow up. You detonated. You became the paradox they warn prophets about. The contradiction that keeps philosophers awake. The creature that looks half angel, half psychopath, and entirely untouchable. And that's why everyone's suddenly walking around you like you're made of live wires. They don't know whether to worship you, fear you, study you, or eliminate you. They only know one thing: you're not supposed to exist. Not like this. Not with this level of awareness, this level of intuition, this terrifying ability to see through masks like they're made of fog. You aren't reacting to reality anymore. You're bending it, pressuring it, rewriting it mid-sentence. The universe hates anomalies, but it respects power. And you are the kind of power that births legends or ruins governments. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a room full of every version of you that died. The naive one, the soft one, the hopeful one, the one that begged for crumbs, the one that doubted themselves, the one that clung to people who couldn't even hold space. They're all standing in the dark, watching the current you like. This is who we became, and even they can't believe it. Because you aren't a sum of your traumas, you're the weapon that was forged because of them. They threw you into chaos expecting you to drown, but you learned to breathe underwater. They dropped you into hell expecting you to burn, but you walked out wearing the flames like a jacket. They tried to break you into pieces, and you used every shard as ammunition. That's why you're dangerous. Not because you're perfect, not because you're lucky, but because you learned to evolve faster than they can sabotage you. You became unpredictable. You became duality incarnate. Light that blinds, darkness that reveals, saint with a switchblade, demon with a conscience, angel with a vendetta, chaos wearing discipline like a tailored suit. You're the glitch the universe couldn't debug. And now every force, cosmic, spiritual, psychological, is trying to recalibrate around your existence. You scare people not because you're loud, but because you're accurate. You see patterns before they form. You sense shifts before they land. You call out storms before clouds even exist. Your instincts aren't instincts anymore. They're warnings the universe whispers through you. And that's why people flinch when you speak. Not because your words are harsh, but because your words are true. You hit a level where reality bends around you, where outcomes rearrange themselves to fit your stride, where karma turns into your personal hitman. And here's the part nobody is ready for. You didn't monumentally improve. You mutated. Your mind became a crime scene. The kind investigators stare at and say, "No human should think like this." Your energy became a frequency, the kind that cracks open people's delusions just by existing. Your presence became a mirror, the kind that exposes every insecurity they hoped you never saw. And the universe, oh, the universe, that old bureaucratic monster, it had one job: maintain balance. But then you showed up, and balance broke. 'Cause you're not just leveling up. You're outgrowing the concept of levels. You're not just walking into rooms. You're shifting gravitational pull. You're not just existing. You're rewriting archetypes and deep, deep inside, beyond the noise, beyond the fear, beyond the mask society glued onto your face. You know it. You feel the hunger, the fire, the cold clarity of someone who's done being underestimated. The universe is watching you now, not as a spectator, as a witness. Because something like you doesn't happen often. A being shaped by pain, but not owned by it. A soul that survived storms, meant to erase entire bloodlines. A consciousness sharp enough to slice through manipulation, illusion, and fate itself. So hear me well. They didn't build this monster, you did. Struggle built the bones. Silence built the instincts. Abandonment built the armor. Loss built the vision, and betrayal. Oh, betrayal built the engine. You want the truth? You're not OP because you're strong. You're OP because you're inevitable, and the universe knows it. So keep walking, monster. Keep evolving. Keep terrifying the ones who prayed you'd stay small. Because power like yours doesn't ask permission. It arrives, and everything else adjusts. Look at you, standing there like a question God himself forgot to answer. You want more? Good, because what's coming next isn't motivational, it's surgical. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm here to drag you into the truth you've been dodging, the truth that's been scratching at your ribs ever since you crossed that invisible threshold and became something the world doesn't have a category for. Let's go deeper. You didn't just level up. You ruptured the blueprint. You broke the scaffolding that was meant to keep you controllable. You snapped the leash they put around your potential. You outgrew the cage before they even realized you were awake. And now, everybody feels it. You walk into a room and people's nervous systems panic like you're a natural disaster wearing a hoodie. They don't know why, they don't know how, but something in their subconscious screams, this one is different. Don't mess with this one. They can't articulate it because it's not mental. It's primal. You've become the kind of presence that triggers deep biological responses, the kind that reminds people of wolves circling villages in the dark. And the reason is painfully simple. You carry too much truth in your bones now. Too much awareness, too much unfiltered, unwatered down, unsanitized clarity. You see everything you weren't supposed to see. You feel everything you weren't supposed to feel. You understand everything they hoped you'd be too distracted, too broken, too insecure to understand. But you didn't stay broken, did you? No. You rebuilt yourself in the dark. You sharpened yourself in silence. You armored yourself with insight most people spend a lifetime avoiding. And that's when you became the paradox, the contradiction, the one thing evolution fears, someone who survived their own destruction. Listen to me. When a person survives what should have killed them, they stop being normal. You crossed that line. There's no going back. You're operating with knowledge that was forged in fire. You're powered by pain that didn't destroy you. It trained you. You're moving with instincts carved from every time you were underestimated, mishandled, betrayed, or forgotten. That's the real reason you scare them. You're not loud, you're not chaotic, you're not chasing attention. You're past all of that. Your silence is what terrifies them now. Because silence is a language only evolved people understand. And you became fluent. Your aura says, I'm not here to prove anything. I'm here to witness everything. Your eyes say, I've already seen the end of this story. Your energy says, play with me, and your own karma will handle the consequences. People don't fear confidence. They fear certainty. And your certainty, it's lethal. Because deep down, every person you cross paths with feels it. You don't need them. You're not impressed by them. You're not distracted by them. You're not even tempted by the things that used to keep you stuck. You're operating from a higher altitude now. And from up there, you don't see people's masks. You see their motives, their fractures, their lies, their desperation to hide the parts of themselves they hope you never notice. But you do, every single time. And that's why the universe looked at you and said, "This one is too OP." Because you don't just predict behavior. You calculate it. You don't just sense energy. You slice through it. You don't just survive chaos. You conduct it. You know what real power is. Not muscles, not money, not followers, not fame. Real power is the ability to walk into a situation and instantly see every angle, every threat, every weakness, every opportunity, without anyone realizing you've already mapped the entire battlefield. And that's you now. That's why they're intimidated. That's why they're confused. That's why they stutter around you. Why they double-check their words. Why they suddenly get nervous when you turn your head. Because they feel like you're not just looking at them. You're reading them, and you are. But let me take it one level deeper, because you earned this truth. The universe didn't just watch your transformation. It adjusted to it, like gravity shifting, like time realigning, like fate rewriting itself around your trajectory. You're not walking on a path anymore. The path is forming under your feet because of you. You're not adapting to reality. Reality is adapting to you. That's what 2OP actually means. You're not playing the game, you're starting to bend it. But here's the cosmic punchline. Nobody built this monster. No architect, no mentor, no family, no system, no enemy. The monster built itself, bone by bone, scar by scar, choice by choice, night by night. Every version of you that died made room for the one you became. The universe didn't crown you, it recognized you. So keep going, keep evolving, keep terrifying the ones who only feel tall when you're on your knees. Keep bending reality with your presence. You didn't hit the level called, "Who built this monster?" You hit the level called, "Don't try to nerf this one, it won't work." And trust me, the universe may be watching you now, but it's not watching to stop you. It's watching because it knows. You're just getting started. Good. Because now, we descend into the part nobody ever warns you about. The aftermath of becoming something your old life could never contain. This isn't motivation anymore. This is autopsy-level truth. The kind that strips you open and shows you exactly why you are feared, why you are avoided, why eyes linger too long, why doors open too fast, why rooms fall silent when you step inside. You think it's confidence? You think it's luck? You think it's some aesthetic glow-up? No, it's the aura of someone who should have died in the fire, but walked out carrying the flames. Pay attention. Once you hit a level like, "Who built this monster?" the world stops treating you like a person. They treat you like a variable, a dangerous, unpredictable anomaly that wasn't in their plan. And nothing terrifies people more than a variable with a conscience and a memory. You became both. You remember every betrayal with surgical detail, but not with bitterness, with strategy. You remember every insult, not to cry over it, but to understand human nature. You remember every time they overlooked you, not to seek validation, but to recognize who's blind. And that makes you frightening, because most people's growth is linear. Yours is exponential. Most people heal in fragments. You healed like a nuclear reaction, quiet, contained, then catastrophic. Most people level up for aesthetics. You leveled up for survival. And that is why the universe flinched, because you're not operating on ego anymore. You're operating on instinct, precision, and something deeper than logic. You're operating on truth. Let me tell you something most people spend their entire lives running from. When you become this refined, this forged, this painfully self-aware, your very existence exposes people. Your presence announces things they'd rather keep hidden. Your eyes decode secrets they never intended to reveal. Your silence forces them to hear their own thoughts. Your existence reminds them of everything they failed to become, and that's why they treat you differently now. You didn't do anything. You simply became undeniable. But there's a darker layer, one you need to understand if you're going to keep ascending. People don't fear your strength. They fear how little their weakness affects you now. They fear the fact that their manipulation no longer lands. Their guilt trips no longer move you. Their opinions no longer anchor you. Their silence no longer controls you. Their validation no longer feeds you. You became self-sustaining. And that is the birth of true power. Let me show you what you look like from the outside. You walk with that eerie calmness of someone who knows they can endure whatever comes next. You listen without flinching. You speak with precision. You move with intentionality. And when you go quiet, oh, that's the part that terrifies them the most. Because silence from someone like you isn't emptiness. It's calculation. It's intuition. It's awareness sharpening its blade. It's evolution prepping its next mutation. You don't react, you observe. You don't chase, you attract. You don't cling, you release. You don't crumble, you reconfigure. You see the patterns before they manifest. You feel the lies before they're spoken. You sense the endings before they begin. And that level of perception, that's when the universe steps back and whispers, "This one evolved too fast." But fast evolution has side effects. You outgrow people in real time. You confuse them without trying. You intimidate them without speaking. You challenge their identity without raising your voice. Because you are no longer tuned to the frequency of the person they remember. You're tuned to something higher, darker, sharper, quieter, and infinitely more powerful. And the universe knows it. That's why it shifted. That's why it adjusted. That's why reality feels different now. Like it's making space for you. Because someone like you doesn't fit in. Someone like you reshapes the environment. You're gravitational. You pull fate into alignment. You bend probability. You break patterns. You disrupt timelines. And you do it without trying. That's OP. But let me tell you the secret that scares the cosmos itself. Your evolution isn't done. You're not at your peak. You're not even close. This version of you, the one the world is already losing sleep over, is just the foundation. What's coming next is the version they'll write myths about. The one the universe will rearrange itself around. The one fate won't dare challenge. The one chaos will respect. The one darkness will follow. The one light will recognize. Because, hear me clearly, you weren't built. You were forged by pain, by silence, by intuition, by awareness, by loss, by betrayal, by cosmic timing, by every force that tried to break you and failed so catastrophically it accidentally created something divine. You didn't hit level, who built this monster? You hit level. Evolution miscalculated, and now it's too late to stop you. So keep going, keep transforming, keep terrifying, keep ascending beyond comprehension. Because if this is who you are now, the universe isn't ready for who you're about to become. Good. Because the deeper we go, the more you'll understand why reality itself had to step back and give you space. Power like yours doesn't just show up. It arrives the way storms arrive, uninvited, undeniable, reshaping landscapes just by existing. Let me peel back another layer. You didn't just grow. You outpaced every prediction set for your life. The universe had a plan for you, sure. A neat little timeline, a tidy sequence of lessons and milestones. But you evolved in violent leaps. You skipped stages you were supposed to struggle through. You mastered skills you weren't expected to touch yet. You saw truths that were meant for your future self. You walked into wisdom you weren't old enough, healed enough, or stable enough to have. You bypassed the script. And when someone bypasses the script, the whole simulation shudders. That's why you felt out of place for so long. That's why you were surrounded by people who couldn't meet you where you stood. That's why you felt like you were speaking an older language nobody else remembered. You weren't ahead of your peers. You were ahead of your era. You are operating with a consciousness meant for a version of humanity that doesn't exist yet. And that is why the universe looked at you like, who let this one load early? But let's dive deeper into the part nobody ever tells you. With this level of evolution comes a certain loneliness. Not because you're alone, but because you're unmatched. Most people don't understand you. Not because you're complicated, but because you're clear in a world built on confusion. They get overwhelmed, not because you're intense, but because you're accurate in a world allergic to truth. They get intimidated, not because you're powerful, but because you're unbreakable in a world that worships fragility. You have to understand this. You walk into rooms carrying a frequency people haven't evolved the receptors for. You speak in a tone that cuts through the ego. You hold eye contact like someone who has seen things others deny exist. You listen in a way that makes people feel naked. You move with a calmness that feels supernatural. You don't chase, you don't beg, you don't perform, you don't dilute. That's not arrogance, that's alignment. When someone reaches your level of self-knowledge, they no longer flinch at chaos. They no longer fear endings. They no longer cling to what doesn't serve them. They no longer shrink to make others comfortable. They stop reacting to life and start conducting it. And this terrifies people because subconsciously they can feel it. You're not trying to win. You're trying to transcend. But here's the twist most people choke on. Your power isn't loud, it's felt. It's not the roar of an explosion. It's the slow, steady pressure of tectonic plates shifting beneath civilization. It's not the lightning strike. It's the storm that forces every creature to run for cover. It's not the scream. It's the silent stare that makes the villain drop the weapon. That's the level you're on. You are the storm and the eye of it. You are the threat and the calm that follows. You are the question and the answer nobody wanted to voice. You are duality personified. A walking contradiction that should not exist. An angel with a predator's instincts. A demon with a moral compass. A saint who smiles during war. A monster who feels deeply. A human who refuses to die in the dark. That's why people can't understand you. You're not nice. You're not mean. You're not broken. You're not perfect. You're beyond categories. And when you surpass categories, you surpass control. Let me remind you, the universe doesn't fear strength. It fears free will.